Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sports of the Day, coming to you straight from beautiful Los Angeles, California. Virtual Los Angeles, California, that is, and I'm not talking about any William Gibson novel. I'm talking about Madden 2002. And here we are at the HELLron Bowl. Again, the weird-ass name for a stadium, weird-ass name for a team, really, and just a weird, Anyway, Madden 2002. We're really the New York Giants roster, as I previously explained, because it doesn't auto-create players for you, which actually does help because it doesn't take up quite as much memory on the memory card as it does in like 2003 and 2004 and so on, where it creates players. It's just like we're just moving a team over a little bit. Start here, go a little unorthodox here with the wide receiver reverse, and that'll go nowhere. I'm just going to ask Madden and do whatever he does, or he wants. Playing the New Orleans Saints of 2001, not a terrible team, especially not in the Madden verse. Oh, I thought that was a ref that was chasing me. See, this is me trying to talk and play at the same time. Sorry about that. That was awful, and I feel terrible. So we're going to do whatever we can here, and we're going to punt. So I'm just going to go chuck it deep to Amani Toomer, and he's got to step on a guy. That's not bad. Hey! Okay. Alright. That's how you do it. Touchdown, Los Angeles. I'm going to go ahead and refrain from entering my name, but let the record stand. I did score a 90-yard touchdown on this drive. So here we are with the extra point. I've started out a lot better than I thought I would. I might miss this extra. I made the extra point. Unimportant. That last sentence, unimportant. I don't need to say it. So an 88-yard drive, not too shabby. We got Holmes kicking off to the Saints, and they can start their first drive. What I think about when I think about this Saints team is really three players, and they will all be on the offensive side. We have the quarterback, Aaron Brooks, who, I don't know if people really remember him for what he was. I mean, he wasn't a great quarterback ever. He was manageable. Never really had a great career, didn't really live up to any, I don't remember what the expectations of him were, but I mean, he played okay, especially for a couple of years, especially in 2000, and so, yeah, he was alright. The other player is probably the more obvious one. It's Ricky Williams, their running back, number 34. Who, just a player I wish I had seen more. I guess he was out of the league, and everybody in the media kind of hated him for being Ricky. Ricky was one of the most unique players, I think, in football history. Sorry about that. And I think he's misunderstood, and a lot of the media didn't like him for that. And it's understandable that the media doesn't like you for effectively leaving the league for a couple of years. I mean, which you did, and you failed drug tests and all that stuff happened. I actually don't remember if Joe Horn was on this team, so I'm going to refrain from saying his name as one of the players I remember from the 2001 Saints. I do remember Joe Turley, though. Who was a really good player who just happened to get in one really bad altercation where he threw his helmet. It's interesting hearing him, Turley, talk about that instance, because he did it basically in, I don't know if I'd say defense, but it was because of, he was angry at somebody for getting a late hit on Aaron Brooks, or just being physical with him. And if you hear him talk about, hear him talk about it, it was basically, the extent of it was like, Aaron Brooks was just in immense pain and had this, was just, screaming in agony, and so he got pissed off and threw his helmet, and Joe Turley had a bad reputation after that, but he was a fine player. Oh, that was damn nice, broke that tackle there. Fell forward, at least. That's good. So we got, oh, damn, the the Giants' life offense is moving today. It's not quite as bad as it was in the last game against the Packers. Granted, I think the Packers were a better team than the Saints are, but only just by a little bit. The 2001 Saints were coming off their best season in history, actually, in all reality. The 2000 Saints won, to that point, New Orleans' only playoff game in the wild card round of the 2000 playoffs against the Rams, the defending Super Bowl champion Rams, I might add. They were supposed to lose that game, and they had never won a playoff game in the Superdome. They had never won a playoff game, period, but they had a couple games in the Superdome in the 90s, and they just never won. Where am I going to go here? Either Camella or Cross, probably. Let's see. Try to hit Cross first, and if I can't. Ah, damn. That was almost perfect. But hard doing pass plays near the goal line in this game. I will say that. I just need Rondain to get around the outside. Hashtag free Rondain. Oh, shit. Rest in peace, Rondain. Whoever, was that Hilliard on the blocking there on the receiving end? Yeah, I'm just going to kick the field goal. So that's unfortunate. But a double-digit lead is better than a single-digit lead. No matter what, it's more trustworthy to get the points here, especially in the first quarter. If we're, near the end of the first half, if I were losing, I would probably go for it. But here, I'll just take the points and not speak too much of it. The defense has been playing excellent as of recent here in the first quarter, even though we're only 3 minutes in. Anyway, about that 2000 playoff game, basically what happened was they got down to a very late punt where I believe the Saints were leading or something like that. Maybe tied, I don't actually remember, but they punt it, and it goes to the St. Louis. Like, I just am so bad at punt coverage. God damn. I need to work on that, because I keep getting to them, and I just can't, like, touch them. Okay, time to blitz. Blitz has been working, and so I do intend to continue with the blitz until Ricky Williams gets like an 80-yard run. Granted, Ricky in this game isn't that great. Ricky with the Saints never was as highly rated of a player as he really deserved to be, because he was not all that. I mean, he was hurt a lot with the Saints. It wasn't until he got to the Dolphins, really, in 2002, when Ricky really became Ricky and became the best running back in the NFL. Then he had that career kind of drop off around 2004, where he had the drug test, the failures of the drug test didn't really come back until I think 2007 or 08, one of those years. And he came back and he had a pretty decent career. Then it ended somewhat unceremoniously. He had just a bizarre career for Ricky Williams. The Saints traded their whole draft away for him, and then he didn't really get to be the, I guess, the type of player that they thought he would be. I mean, that was basically the end of his career, in New Orleans. And he did the weird thing where he'd wear the helmet in interviews. By the way, 4th down, and they will punt to me. Should check. I believe I did change the difficulty settings last time. So yeah, I'm on all pro. Okay, I'm proud of myself for that. Anyway, Ricky, back to the 2000 Saints. And the playoff game's really not important. That was just the first one they had won. Ozakeen muffed a punt, and they recovered it, and that was basically it. The Saints won that game. That was their first home victory, and their first playoff victory until their 2005 run to the NFC Championship game. That was a weird year, too, because that was a year. The year's NFC Championship game was the Bears and the Saints against an AFC Championship game, which was the Patriots and Colts, which was like that big rivalry, and everybody was excited about Peyton versus Tom Brady. And the NFC game was like Drew Brees versus Rex Grossman, the Saints and the Bears. That was a lopsided Super Bowl, too. That was like one really good team against one Chicago Bears. And the weird thing was the Bears kept it competitive for so long. It's like, I am still really surprised that the Bears made the Super Bowl that year, but I don't know who else could have. That was just that was a down year for the NFC, outside of the Seattle Seahawks, but they went down, I don't know, I don't even remember who they went down to. I just don't remember that many teams coming out of the, yeah, there we go, Kerry Collins picking up the first down. And we're at the end of the first quarter, which I feel is an optimum time to bring up the 5 topics of the day for March 4th, 2015. By the way, one of my favorite days of the year, the only day of the year that is both a date and a command, March 4th. And the Los Angeles Life will March 4th, right here on 1st and 10. So you may notice my voice is a little off today. There's a reason for that. That's because I went to a basketball game last night. And let me tell you, that was easily the best basketball game I have ever been to. The game in question was last night, the school I go to versus West Virginia. It's not the Big 12 championship game. In effect, the game that would be, I think, tomorrow night, maybe tonight? No, it would be tomorrow night. Well, maybe it's Saturday. I don't know. KU is playing Oklahoma sometime later in this week, and that would have had West Virginia won the game last night, been in effect the Big 12 championship game or something like that, because we had already basically won the Big 12, but this was the game to win it outright for KU. And it was an intense game. West Virginia was up by 18 at one point, I think, in the second half, and came down to 2 late free throws to send it into overtime. He hit, Amani Toomer didn't even cut back. I'm making a hand motion, but there's no camera of me, so you can't see that. Didn't go and hook. That's unfortunate. God, that was just the most exciting game I've ever been a part of, just because of the atmosphere, and the crowd was great. We were all kind of, because I went to the game against Texas on Saturday as well, and the crowd for that game was like really tentative and nervous because they had just lost last Monday, and the crowd on Saturday was like, you could tell there was kind of an aura of fear, or an air of nervousness really in the crowd. They were going to lose that game too. Their power forward, who had been starting for the past couple of games, was out with an eligibility issue. I don't know if that's going to be resolved or not by the tournament time. It seems like a lot of people, including the head coach, have, damn it, I broke through the line and I didn't get to the right guy. That happens sometimes. I used to rush the quarterback so incessantly that even if they handed it off on like a draw, I would still see if I could get the quarterback to the ground, and then I figured out in later games they made that a penalty for some unnecessary roughness or something. Oh shit! Saints offensive line not doing much there. I don't know who got that. I think it was Barrow. It was a linebacker. Anyway, that was. I haven't been to an overtime basketball game since like high school. I think overtime's always exciting. I've never been to an overtime game like in college basketball. Oh damn, 127 yards for Kerry Collins, next to 0 for Aaron Brooks there. That was just, quite honestly, it's hard to explain why, I guess, but just because it was such a big comeback. They didn't hit a 3-point shot the entire game. And they had a number of open looks, and that's not a good thing that you aren't hitting 3-pointers, especially when it comes up to tournament time. But they have players who can, is the thing. It's like, I'm not worried about, because they've been hitting 3-pointers all throughout the year, and then these past 3 games, I looked at the stat, and it was like 9% over the past 3 games. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know how they're going to win in the Big 12 tournament, certainly, and then in the NCAA. But they are champions. You can buy your shirt down at the Kansas Union for, I think, $30 or $40. I personally am going to wait until the last week of school when they are $5 marked down, which is not what I did last year, but I might do that this year. Because, I mean, that is actually factual. If you go in May, fun tip for students of any college that makes a commemorative t-shirt or anything for anything, by the end of the year, the bookstore will be looking to get rid of everything, and that shirt will be $5, possibly even less. Monty Toomer's already got 100, that's good. That was a broken play. So I was talking. I was distracted. But yeah, that was just a great game in Big 12 champions for the 11th year in a row. And I remember the first year. I remember the second year. 2006 especially, because my dad came home and was like, yeah, we won. And he bought a shirt, which he bought shirts for him and myself, which probably cost him about $100. I don't particularly... It's weird when you win this often. It is absolutely thanks to in certain years it was a down league. In certain years there just wasn't good competition. 2011, I don't know who else was really competing for the Big 12 championship other than Kansas. 2012 there really weren't that many other good teams in the conference. Oh no, wait, 2012 Missouri was good. I always forget. Damn it, Amani Toomer, like, break, do what the route does. I'm trying to lead you to where you're open in the corner of the end zone, but oh, Michigan man does whatever he wants. He's from Michigan, right? Yeah. If I'm wrong, sorry. So we got a long field goal. And no, upright. Damn. Okay. Just doinked it. I'm gonna watch that. I just sit in my misery. We got a tiny ass screen in our stadium too. Doink. I like that lens flare. That was a really innovative effect in 2001. They were like, shit, look at our lens flares we can do on this new Nintendo GameCube. You didn't have that in the N64. Unfortunately, winning the championship outright last night... Okay, well, it wasn't... Because last night, it was 2 nights ago when Baylor lost. That really ruined this. There was a very, very possible way for 5 teams to split the Big 12 championship at the beginning of the week. Now it will be just 1 team. Where it was honestly possible that if Baylor, West Virginia, and Oklahoma won out, and then Iowa State lost 2 games, Kansas lost all 3, it would have been a 5-way tie for the championship in the Big 12, which I think which honestly would have been better than anything, just to see a 5th place team tied for 5 teams tied for 1st, and 2nd place is actually in 6th. How do you set like the Big 12 like the tournament from that? I don't know. I've never seen that happen before. I mean, I've seen split championships before, and I think it was just based on head-to-head play or something like that. Oh, damn. That was a nice hit. They are moving down the field. This is impressive. Maybe I should stop blitzing. Should probably have a defense set. There we go. Who's that? Short? Nice. A little weird shimmy there in celebration. That's really the best way to celebrate. Shimmying. Not too much shimmying anymore. It's kind of a dying art since about 2004, so. I'm just going to blitz off the corner here. And no, Ricky got me. Oh, damn, that was smart, throwing that away. Aaron Brooks, a little bit, I don't know if I'd say underrepresented or whatever. I mean, I just don't think he gets the kind of respect he may deserve being a quarterback. One of the first real spread guys to come in from college and show that you can be successful coming out of the spread. Granted, not that many other players have come out and shown that. Yeah, there we go. That hit the... Oh, God. That hit the crossbar or the stanchion? I don't know if you call that a stanchion or not. That's what you call it in basketball, so that's what I'm going to call it. Granted, not that many people have ever come out of a spread system and been successful. Granted, not that many quarterbacks end up being successful, just all in all. So it also depends. Players come out and have these gaudy numbers in college, And when they come to the NFL, people are expecting them to have the same sort of thing, and they got the talent, but maybe they're not ready yet, and people just expect more out of them than they're really able to give. And then a couple short years later, they're out of the league because they failed early on and never really got a chance to learn. Which is why I think, there needs to be a better way to do this, but there are just so few really good quarterbacks in the National Football League anymore. And that, in part, is due to the generation after Peyton Manning and really the year after Eli, Ben Roethlisberger, and the other guy, Phillip Rivers, and then the year after that was Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers. After that, those five, starting in about 2006 with Jamarcus Russell and a couple other guys, there just haven't been that many good quarterbacks. And I think I've said something on this before, but it's just there's a loss of quarterbacks, and so you have to, and of course in college, that's also when the sort of spread system started coming out. And that's why, guys like Jake McCown, I don't even know his first name. Is it Jake McCown? Is it Josh McCown? I knew it was the name of somebody I knew in elementary school. I knew Jake and a Josh. But he's getting paid. He's getting paid. Matt Castle's getting paid. Guys who are veterans who you'd think wouldn't be around and would be replaced by younger talent in former years just are still getting them checks. Matt Castle got a paycheck today. He got picked up by the Bills. He got traded for. Somebody traded for Matt Castle in 2015. As a Kansas City Chiefs fan, that feels so bizarre because I remember him having holes in his game in 2010, but we were sticking with him and he got us to the playoffs. But I'd be like, damn, 2015? Somebody honestly said Castle's going to be our guy. That's just so weird to think about. People still have faith in Matt Castle, which is weird because nobody really had faith in Aaron Brooks after his time with the Saints was over. I wonder what are people's opinions of Aaron Brooks in the city of New Orleans? If you're from New Orleans, please tell me what you think of Aaron Brooks. Because I remember him being pretty serviceable for a couple of years. Never great, but not anybody I hate. I kind of think of him the way I would think of as a Kansas City fan of Trent Green or Matt Castle maybe. I don't know. I think I just answered my own question. Okay, let's end the first part.